All right, Kevin back with you for another episode of the $1 Million Relationships Podcast. And today I'm here with Chris Rodgers. Chris, welcome. So awesome to have you on the show today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You bet. I'll tell you, I'm going to start by giving a shout out to your PR gal, Katie Brashear. Man, I'll tell you what, she's a total rock star. And she ended up reaching out to, but I didn't even know about the quoted platform until about a year ago. A friend of mine told me about it, and I have found some really amazing podcast guests through that platform because of people like Katie, who is your PR person, who is so dang good at doing what she does. Man, she sent me a message on that platform telling me about you and saying why she felt Chris would be a great person to interview for the podcast. And after I got done reading what she wrote, I'm like, heck yeah, I want to meet Chris and get to know him. And so we already had that conversation. And of course, Katie joined us for that too. And
Mhm.
but I just got to give her a shout out because, like I said, she's a real rock star at doing what she does. And I'm with you. I'm speaking to the choir. I'm sure, right, Chris?
Yeah, she's actually our director at PR. So
Gotcha.
outside of what she does for CSP, she is actually heading up our PR department for the clients that we provide PR and specifically geo services for, generative engine
Okay.
optimization. So PR and earned media is a key part of that. And Katie is our head of PR there. So.
Awesome. Well, I'll tell you, she's on top of stuff because even this morning she was texting me and just going, "Okay, Kevin, I just want to make sure everything's good with you and Chris for this afternoon." She's following up on stuff. And
Very good. Good to hear.
so yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I'm looking forward to having this conversation, and I'm just going to lob out the first nice, simple. But you know what? Somebody told me earlier on the last podcast, he's like, "Kevin, yeah, that's a real easy question for you to ask. It takes a little bit more for me to answer," and I can understand that. But I'm just going to start with Chris, what do you do, and who do you guys serve?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm the founder and CEO of CSP Agency, and we are a specialized human first, AI enhanced geo and SEO agency for B2B and ecom.
Oh, so
We work with
B2B and e-com. Okay. Okay.
those are our main focus areas. We have, honestly, we've got clients that run the gamut of different sectors.
Okay.
And typically, anywhere from funded startups to mid-market to we have several enterprise clients, up to Fortune 100. So, you know,
Very good. So, what inspires you most about the work that you get to do and the impact you guys get to make, Chris?
I mean, right now, and for the last year, the inspiration that I've drawn is from the change that is happening within the search and SEO space.
Okay.
So I built out our Geo or generative engine optimization program starting almost about a year ago.
All right.
And then we launched our first paid client for our Geo program in October. But really, there is almost like a big shaking of the snow globe right now in terms of the order of things within SEO. And so there's a tremendous opportunity to get ahead of that. And we've moved into that very early on. Most people are still just trying to figure it out. Now we're in it about a year in.
Okay.
It has allowed me to get my hands dirty. So I actually built out our human first geo framework.
Okay.
So the way that we execute geo strategy and integrate AI, and yeah, that is what has provided a tremendous amount of inspiration, both for us as an organization, that opportunity, but for our clients, it's a huge opportunity. So to
Yeah.
be able to bring them along, and I don't think they have a real perspective on how early they are on it
Okay.
because they happen to be our clients and we're ushering them into this.
Hmm.
So it's a it's a very exciting time, very
So,
busy time, but very exciting time.
what are some of the bigger changes that you see taking place that are going to impact people doing business online?
Yeah, I mean it's LLMs or large language models.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
is the Chat GPT. It is Gemini within Google, specifically AI overviews that are in search right now,
Mhm.
those automated text answers, those conversational answers that sit on top of search results,
Yep.
and very much AI mode that they are now feathering people into. They're that is speeding up. So we are going to be in the future in a conversational interface when it comes to search. I believe that the open web is going to be going away, and
Okay.
that's a scary thing. But I don't think we're in the future. I don't think we're going to have access to those 10 blue links, and we'll see how long we have access to those links. But I think we are going to be in a conversational interface like what we have with AI mode, and there will be links embedded there, but it's not going to be the traditional experience. So the way that you gain visibility within that conversational interface is not the same as the rules in SEO, even though SEO is an important foundation and
Mhm.
something that you really need to have to be able to go and compete in GEO or AEO. Um, it is a different game.
Yeah.
And yeah, so if we're talking about what needs to change, the way that people do marketing is rapidly changing to be visible within those interfaces. And we go a step further. Now we're talking about the agentic web, and it's coming quickly on its heels. We just had some announcements from Google at Google I/O, and they're already going to be launching agents,
Okay.
informational agents for people starting this summer on some of their
Wow.
plans. So you can have an agent that you're going to say, hey, I am researching a trip to Europe that I want to take next year, and I need to know this, this, and this. And that agent is going to go and perform all your research work 24/7 and put all that stuff together for you. So
Wow.
um,
Wow.
it's coming
Wow.
and it's moving quick.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just even on the other side of this, when I just do, yeah, searches on my phone or what have you, yeah, you always see the AI stuff coming up now too, and that's always at the top of the screen, and then the search results are below that, and
Mhm.
well, so I'm curious, how did you even get in to doing this kind of work, Chris? I mean, what is your background? Because I'm sure, when I was a little kid, I wanted to be a fireman, and I never thought never even imagined doing what I'd be doing now. And I imagine it's probably the same for you. When you were a kid, you never imagined doing what you do now. So how'd you get here?
Yeah. Well, it is interesting. I mean, I did when I was little, I sold popcorn for the Boy Scouts.
Oh, and they
Uh,
still do that.
yep, and I used to door in our
Yep.
neighborhood, and I had a competitive nature, and I think they had different badges and things depending on how much you sold, and um, so there was I don't know. There was a challenge there, and I liked talking to people, and I liked interacting with people. And so as I, got farther along, um, I think I worked at a supermarket for a while and worked at a drugstore, stocking shelves and those things. But then I ended up getting into some various like sales position, like doing phone sales and some of these things. And there was an excitement there. So the path that I identified was in sales. I was actually a psych major. I was a psychology major in
Ah,
school.
okay.
And I worked very much for a period as patient activity director for a clinical trials company. So
Okay.
I had a lot of interest in psychology and abnormal psychology. My role at this clinical trials company was patient activity director. It was a pumped up title for a part-time college kid. But what I would essentially do is I'd have to come to the unit because we would have patients that were in either schizophrenia or bipolar trials, and these would be double blind, placebo controlled trials. So some of these individuals were not on medication.
Mhm.
My job was to take them off of the unit out into the community so that they could have time out away from the hospital setting.
Okay.
So you can imagine all of the various situations and things that ensued.
I'm thinking, yeah,
Um,
there could be some, yes,
there are
interesting situations.
many interesting and wild stories. You know, I was taking up to 12 people out to for various activities, shopping, those types of things. So this is all coming to I looked down at taking this path of psychology and really working with people. And what I found was that the coordinators, project coordinators, were the first rung up. And I looked at what they were doing, and it was pretty much 60 hours of homework. They had very little interaction with the patients. And actually, I had the most interaction with the patients out of anybody, but that was going to be short lived. So I ultimately decided I was going to move into a sales position. And I got a job as an account representative with RH Donnelly. This was downtown Chicago. What was unique about this role is it was not a traditional sales role. It was also a marketing role.
Okay.
So a key part of my job within that role was creating advertising for various businesses. So I had to learn about those businesses, their unique value proposition, what the benefits were that they offered, what the pain points were of their customers. And then I would actually have to craft ads and do tracking and calculate ROI. And so this was really my entrance into marketing. And that was really how I got exposed to marketing. And then RH Donnelly, within the time that I was there, rolled out a automated pay-per-click product.
Okay.
And I quickly gravitated to this product because they had data tracking related to the performance of this advertising, which we didn't have on print ads,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So very quickly, I became the number one rep of integrating and executing that program within the division. And it was like, I don't know if it was like 70 reps or something, but a lot of people.
Okay.
And what I found was that these profile pages that they were sending traffic to were indexed on Google. So some of these profile pages would rank really highly and they would get a massive amount of business.
Okay.
So I learned how to optimize these pages. When I'd go out on my sales call, I'd quickly run through whatever we had to talk about, and I would spend the bulk of my time on that appointment optimizing their profile pages for SEO.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that was my first entrance into SEO and driving real business value from hands-on optimization, which let's be honest, at that point was keyword stuffing, right? It wasn't incredibly complicated, but it was effective. And I got to see, I got a huge charge in seeing how the amount of business that I was helping drive for what at the time were small businesses that
Mm-hmm.
really would make an impact and deliver a huge ROI. And that was it. That's what stuck with me and really got me motivated to move towards the direction
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
SEO and being a practitioner as opposed to a seller of services.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting, figuring out what you can do to just really, I mean, really deliver results for people and stuff, and like that, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that jazz, because, I mean, I like being that guy, as I'm sure you do, that, just being that guy who our clients come back to and is like, man, Chris, thanks so much for helping us out with this. Because it's not their thing. They're not good at that stuff. This is your thing, and it has been for years,
Mm.
so what is an example of a result that you've helped a client get? And you don't have to name names. You can if you want. That's totally your call. But what's a result you've helped
Sure.
a client get that you're just incredibly proud of, Chris?
Man, we've got a client who's been with us, I don't know, it might be at least 10 years. It's from the early stages in the business. And they
Oh,
started out really
nice.
small with us. And we have helped them scale nationally from being they're a recruiter
Okay.
that specializes in executive assistance.
Okay.
And they were a local New York firm doing localized business, and we helped expand their footprint across the entire US.
Wow.
And that business has scaled significantly over the years that we've worked with them. I think they've always been kind of close to the vest on that success
Uh-huh.
because they don't want us to, charge them more. Um, but they sent a lead our way a little while back, and it was someone that worked in her building. And she said, "Hey, I have seen what you have done for this person over the years, and we've just seen them expand their space and hire on people, and seen that business grow, exponentially. So obviously, you guys know what you're doing, and yeah." That felt pretty awesome. So
Yeah.
we've got small businesses we help like that, and then we have some on the, there's also a charge when help an enterprise, generate $9 million of organic value in a year to 25, or in a month to 25 million in a month.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
so those kind of results are really exciting too,
Yeah.
but for different reasons.
You bet. You bet. Wow. You know, so now that we've got a little bit of context set here, and people understand a little bit about who you are and what you guys do, I want to switch gears just a little bit. I want to start focus on the relationship side of all this a little bit. So, have you ever been introduced to a person or persons who completely changed the course of your life or your business, so much so that much of what you have today would not be possible if not for this person or persons? And I'm just really excited to hear your story and your experience around this topic of relationships, Chris.
Yeah, there are a couple, and
Okay.
there's the couple that stick out to me that were early in my career, around that time when I was at RH Donnelly. So around that time, after I had begun really becoming a leader and executing that PPC and what I turned into an SEO program, I decided that I wanted to get into the product development side of this. I wanted to work on this thing from an SEO perspective, not just be the guy who's out there selling it. So we were on the 71st floor of the Aon building in Chicago, right next to Millennium Park, and up on I think the 74th floor were some of the executives. And there was a individual, I think his name was Mark, that was you know, I don't know if he was the regional manager of the entire Midwest region,
Okay.
but was responsible he was like my boss's 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 boss.
Okay.
And I got a meeting to go see him because I wanted to talk to him about a role change, about getting involved in SEO. And at that time, I was looking at a master's program in internet marketing that I was entertaining. And I came and spoke with him and told him about the master's program that I was considering pursuing, about the results that I had generated on the SEO side by leveraging this PPC product in a creative way. And really my intent to want to get involved on the product development side, as this industry is going to change, and you're going to have to adapt with it. And he sat pretty patiently and listened for a while, and when he finally gave me his response, he said, "Well, Chris, I got to be honest with you. I don't know about this, this university and this master's program. And frankly, everything you're describing, I just don't know how this is going to help you with your sales numbers." And it was uh, I don't even know, it was like a lightning bolt hit me. And I was like, wow, I am, I'm done. Like, I'm out of here. There is no future for where I want to go and where you want me to go. And so I just thanked him for his time, and I walked out of there, and the decision was made. I was going to leave RH Donnelly at that point. I am going to do this master's program, and ultimately decided I was going to flip my 401k for funding for my first startup, where
Okay.
I'm going to apply what I learned in this master's to go execute SEO for my own business and create my own future in that way.
Wow. So that was a big, bold step, but there was like no hesitation at all. You were just like, wow, this is not a right fit for me to continue, and I'm going this direction.
Yeah, I mean, the instantaneous was knowing I was going in a different direction. And
Hmm.
then certainly the pieces of pulling that all together happened in fairly short order. But yeah, there was an immediate lightning bolt that said, I need to change directions
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Okay. And so there's another person I know that you want to talk about. I want to make sure I give you time to talk to
Yeah.
them too. So,
The other one was my manager at RH
okay.
Donnelly, who I had worked at it extensively. And what happened is RH Donnelly actually had an SEO program. It was a premium SEO program, not the PPC one that I hacked to generate SEO results. But they decided that they I think they couldn't scale it because it was very hands-on, even though it was lucrative and in demand. And so they disbanded this SEO department, and that SEO department lived down on the 70th floor, and I'd been down there a few different times. I don't think I was supposed to be down there, but trying to make things happen in some of these programs. I'd been down
Hmm.
there. And
Hmm.
what happened is when they disbanded this program, you all of a sudden had a bunch of customers that didn't have a service provider, and you had a whole bunch of people that now didn't have jobs.
Okay.
So what naturally happened is two or three SEO agencies uh, got spun up after in Chicago after they disbanded that department.
Okay.
And so one of those was my manager at the time left to start that with a couple of other folks. And so I went to him and said, "Hey, I am going to be leaving Donnelly. I'm going to be going out and doing a master's program, and I have a startup that I'm working on. But I want to come to you. Like I want to come do SEO for you guys." And he said, "Okay, great, fantastic, Chris. I'll get you in a sales position there and we can get you going." And I said, "No, I don't want to do sales. I want to do SEO execution." And I think at that point, I was already almost through my SEO program.
Okay.
Really, it was a master's in internet marketing, but I was almost through that program. Um, and he said, "Okay, let me talk to my partners." And he came back and said, "Okay, well, I'm gonna have you meet with Mark. Mark is going to, kind of teach you the basics here and get you in a position to start executing on this." And so that really was my foray into executing SEO at a professional level. Mark taught me some basics, taught me who I needed to follow on Twitter to learn more, and said, "Okay, now you're off to the races. Make sure that you complete your hours and that you do ABC work." And I started working for them contract as the senior SEO analyst. And that was the beginning of my really my career in SEO.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. So what's an example of a situation where you personally, Chris, got to make this really substantial impact, and maybe in the moment, maybe it even surprised you a little bit, and yet you also know that would have never been possible if not for the relationship that you had with either one of these gentlemen. What's an example of a situation where like you were empowered in that way?
I mean, I would say a lot of them were the jobs I was able to create along the way.
Hmm. Hmm.
The people that we were able to bring on. I mean, early on, the way that I started was hiring interns.
Okay.
And we'd start when we first started, my first intern was working for school credit while he was in college. And then once he got to graduate, it was time to either hire him on full time, or lose my one and only work partner at that point. So took the jump and hired him. And then he was able to grow and grow his career and become the leader in our organization on SEO. And then we hired additional people, some of them starting as interns, and then we're able to hire some people now that were out of college and were in entry level jobs, and then eventually hiring veteran SEO people who've been doing it for a very long time. So I would not have been able to create those jobs and help people grow in their careers.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those people, we've had people over the years who have left us because of the work they did with us at our organization and the resume that they built up because of the type of work that they were doing with us.
Yeah.
We managed some big projects, some really impactful stuff that putting it on a resume gets you in a pretty good position.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it always you hate to lose somebody, but you also have to feel good about the opportunity that you gave some people and help them
You
grow in
bet.
their career,
You bet.
and
Yeah.
end up in a better place
Yeah.
over time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's been very
Wow.
cool.
Well, for anybody that might be listening to this and thinking to themselves, I mean, because I know for me personally, when it comes to I mean, I've played with it a little bit, and I am totally fascinated by it. But there are so many people so much further ahead in it than I am. And I know that when it comes to a lot of businesses, a lot of companies, they're looking at all this and going, and they might be doing really great over here, but they're like thinking about this AI stuff, and they're like, oh man, where do you even, So anybody that might be listening to this right now and thinking, okay, Chris, these guys are up to some stuff. They've got, a lot of history with this, and they're like really, men they're working with some kind of clients that, like, we might be in the same kind of ballpark as some of the clients they're already working with and stuff. What's the best way? Any website, any resources we can share with folks if they want to get a hold of you guys?
Yeah, for sure. So CSP
Okay.
dot agency
Okay.
is our website. Content search PR, CSP dot agency. Um, we have a form on there to fill out where we will, as a a starting point, do a discovery meeting with people where we do a SEO and geo, generative engine optimization audit and strategy session. So we'll actually pull up and do some analysis on their current SEO performance, and also actually run their brand through various LLMs against competitors and pull back brand mentions, citations, share of voice
Okay.
for where they stack up versus competitors, and even dial down to the prompt response level where we can show them the specific responses where their brand was or was not surfaced, and then really talk through what they need to do to get ahead of this thing and how
Okay.
to approach it.
Very good. Very good. Um, and I'll make sure we include that link in the show notes and stuff. So if you're listening to this, it's going to be right below here. Chris, is there any last thing that you feel led to share before we call it a wrap today?
Um, I don't think so. I like, all I would say is that, I do like the focus of thinking about those key relationships,
Yeah.
and looking at the relationships that you have with people and where that can open up opportunities. Um, and the only other thing that I would put out there as business folks and marketing folks are looking ahead, is there's a big change taking place, and we've had huge changes with search engines in the past, but it's moved at a you know evolution almost pace, where today I think we are looking at more of a revolution where things are changing very, very quickly. Um, and where there's change, there's opportunity.
Yeah.
So very much there is an opportunity to get ahead of it right now. And that's the exciting part, is that there's opportunity. If you're in an industry, in our industry, there's a big snow globe getting shaken up. And when all that snow and all that soot and all that stuff is in the air, things aren't solidified, and you've got a way that you can move up through it so that when it comes back down, it solidifies, you're in a much higher place than you were before. And that's true in our industry, but it is almost even more true in all these other industries because it's not even on the radar yet. It's when I wish I had a couple businesses in other industries and time to actually execute on them. But there is an opportunity on AI search, to get up ahead while that snow globe is shooken up,
Okay.
so that when it comes back down, you know, maybe you're out ahead of some larger competitors that you couldn't get past before, but now there's an opportunity for you to get up ahead of. So
Very cool. Very
That's
cool.
that's exciting.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Chris, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to have this conversation today. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you. And I'm excited to get this out there and share it with folks. So thanks so much, man.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It was great.
You bet.